our first. They have a lot more opportunity to give us a very different draft, right? They're still going to go.
But
we're going to see a TA, but we could still see it switch around. Weaver could be safe lane. Weaver could be support. Like we still have the opportunity for a different draft.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was a really interesting game to watch, and I think there wasn't like to me. I slightly preferred Navi's draft, but it was like a 55-45 kind of thing. Like I wouldn't mind watching that same game again. Like it was. I think if you replay that exact same draft, it would play out a very different way. Like you wouldn't see the early kills on TA. Maybe perhaps you see Dendi have a better time. If Dendi has a faster blink Desolator. Or they give Sanking a faster blink. I think Navi has more playmaking potential. So there's a lot of different ways that game 2 could have panned out if some small tweaks were made from either team.
Yeah, even that around the Roshan pit. Oof.
Oh yeah, all it takes is Navi to win that fight, and if Navi win that fight, get Roshan. Suddenly, they potentially set themselves up to take Iraq's, take the game. So. I've always wondered if teams, because I remember there was that replay takeover feature added. I would love to like have Navi and Secret just be like, hey, let's practice that Roche fight 10 times in a row and see how it was like meant to go over using like the replay takeover or something. Like, let's see what happens if Navi get the jump.
Don't want to bring stuff up like that. They're not going to invite you to TI if you keep bringing up the broken promises.
Well, it was working for a while. I don't know. Does it still work? I haven't tried using it. It was one of those features that got added and everyone was like, holy shit, this is awesome. But then no one used it. So if anything, I totally support Valve's decision not to fix it. I don't even know if it's broken because no one uses it. It's like a forgotten feature that sounded super sick and awesome. Like, oh my gosh, look at these Valve devs. They do the coolest shit ever for esports. And then no one uses it. But
fourth pickup, Navi.
Jesus fucking Christ!
Keep the same draft. Let's keep it rolling, baby.
Did they get the Venge or the what was Roman's hero?
Last pick.
They had Roman was playing the Sand King. I think the Venge is maybe more important than the Sand King to that last draft. There's maybe some other heroes they get instead of Sand King, but I don't know. Actually, they're kind of limited on initiators. Maybe an Axe is a consideration if they want to swap the Weaver up to a support or a safe laner. The Axe is a big hero for General in game 1. I think he played very well on.
Are you okay with Axe like Florida?
I think it works all right. It's not ideal, but it also sometimes your team, like you blink and you call and TA gets on top, it sets Disruptor up for a pretty good static storm, so it's not always gonna be wonderful for you.
Yeah, it does. That was also the thought that I had as Disruptor. It feels like the Sand King and his way of initiating is rather independent and able to does feel a little bit better against the potential combinations that Team Secret AoE.
Team Secret's turn to pick.
Okay. It's I don't know. I mean, I don't even feel like I should be like discussing or analyzing the draft because we've said. I guess we can discuss it with last game in mind, but
we need to stop talking about last game gods and just act for anybody who's just now tuning in to game 3. Like we're gods of drafting.
I feel like I hope Secret just don't ban Venge. Just please don't ban Venge and don't ban what was the other hero? The PA. I think you actually have to ban PA. It's so good with the Slaughter. That was like the amp damage of the PA. I almost just want them to replay the same draft. So that would be the first time ever. Like that has never happened. I don't think this has ever happened. Eight of the same picks. This has never happened before in a competitive best of 3 Dota 2 series. I've seen like the first opening 4, 5, or 6 picks, but I've never seen 8 of the same heroes. And we're going to see a PA. It's happening, Cap.
I mean, the fact that we're seeing the same bands, the last because let's do the comparison here. Do you actually think that Lifestealer would be better for Team Secret than the PA? Because then they would have the Lifestealer Slaughter combination.
Yeah, I think it would be better. I think that's actually a true point. Fucking hell!
All right. There's finally a little bit of a twist, and Night Shyamalan was directing this one.
Oh God!
All right. So
this is my favorite draft I've ever cast in a Dota 2 match. I'm like, what just happened?
All right. So the question is the Weaver safe lane core and the Axe off lane better in our previous draft of the
core? Well, the way that game played out, the Weaver ended up being as much of a carry, like more so than the Venge was. They turned the Venge into this like more utility hero, and that's where you would have like if you like 50 minutes in, they had the option to Weaver a bit more farm, be the carry, and swap the Venge out for an Axe. I think Navi would have rather have had an Axe there than the Venge, you know, like having that reliable initiation, the BKB Pierce, the PA, like. Roles that
I
suits
like
them
this,
better.
the Axe pickup against the Phantom Assassin. With the Weaver in mind, I feel like a safe lane Weaver should be able to get a lot done. If we have the early BKB pickup earlier, I'm not sure how that actually involves. Do you get the Desolator? Do you try and get a faster MKB? I'm not sure how that workaround goes, but I think a higher net worth Weaver could have a lot more impact, especially since that was the decision that Navi made last game, is they wanted the Weaver to be the full damage dealer. And then having this crisp initiation with General being able to potentially, with a Blade Mail, turn things around on the...
Yeah. I mean, yeah, a farmed Axe like game can do very well against the PA. The Blade Mail, and you get some HP. It's a good Crimson Guard builder as well. So it's a pick that's going to, I think, suit Navi's draft a lot better. That's where I was wondering if they would fourth pick that over like the Sand King. But it does still come into the draft, and see how things work out for them. KheZu, thinking he can get a bit more out of the lane, is not going for the Iron Talon this time around. Weaver not perhaps as strong at zoning as a Venge, a slightly less kill potential between the Rubik Weaver lane than the Venge Rubik lane, but still a pretty potent lane. Don't get me wrong.
For sure. Just lacking that extra bit of nuking Disable. Biver and RMN doing something interesting here. They combo up together, blocking together, but they smoke, and I think that was fine, except for the park where they caught Dandy.
Yeah. He's going to come out of the smoke. There's even a Radiant High Ground ward, so it's not like he's going to pop on his high ground with nothing seeing. This
Better go fast.
shouldn't work.
They just need to go right now before the
ping.
smoke puzzle is solved.
Oof. Yeah, slightly misexecuted. They had an idea they wanted to do, but yeah. Here's boots on Sand King. They could still go for this. But now it's just the ward and the high ground.
Puppey being the guardian to Midwan silent. Again, he's going to go for the high ground check. Sure enough, there is RMN sitting there. Which means KheZu just got some free time in his lane. Well, I say free time. He actually really didn't get too much. Looks like the lane's pushing forward, though. He's got double range.
Yeah. They'll try pull this back. They've actually already stacked the neutral camp, though, so it doesn't end too poorly for Navi. They'll be able to deny a wave or two of XP farm from KheZu following this, and maybe even get some farm on the Rubik. They're already pulling it over, trying to catch these range creeps. Take those 2 range creeps away, that's a lot of XP that KheZu is not going to end up getting.
That's interesting. Yeah, they blocked out their own hard camp on the Radiant side. They're going to have RMN coming over. General might be able to... No, not follow that one up. Fortunately, he's not level 2, so no battle hunger or anything that he can try and chase down a support. Just a bit of space, granted. General will have this creep wave push into him and get a lot of farm.
Yeah. I wonder if that's a misclick from Highlight Eye, perhaps. I'm not sure you want to block that camp when you're running like a... I guess it's an aggressive dual lane you perhaps do, but it's just General down there. You want to have access to that side pull to do similar things to what Navi's doing up top.
Yeah. As you had that nice double range creep situation where the lane was going to push into him, but he has since found his lane pulled and using at least a lot of gold. Still keeping some experience thanks to the neutral creeps, but...
Gets some experience. He also got the bounty rune too, which is pretty nice, so it gives him a little boost. So he'll have boots at least at a decent time. Feels like he's going to reach like a similar timing on his level 4 plus boots as last game with the Iron Talon. Dendy, though, has vacated his lane and gone jungle. He's having a very rough time once again. This is actually worse than last game, what's happened to him. So this is... And that's with that early smoke, so this is a bit of a concern.
I goes
Navi.
down. Armen was contesting the easy camp pull, and they found the opportunity to get a burrow strike on the Disruptor, turning things And MP making a jump on a general here, thinking that maybe with Pylai die, they can actually do something here. They've got 2 versus 3. RMN kind of sticking around, seeing if he can help General if possible. He still has a call ready to go. The stun's going to land. They get the slow, and that will be the end of General, even with that armor upgrade on now.
Yeah, RMN could have gone in for a stun, but unless they got really lucky with the axe spins, that would have been 2 deaths. So it makes the safe play and just lets the axe go down. 3 heroes rotate for that, and you're still doing very well in this offlane, and now Axe can TP in, and you can look to turn around and fight. He brings a salve, and Pylai is going to be very careful. Another kill for Navi.
Take up there. KheZu trying to make that lane work. For the most part, it was kind of turning out. Does give that extra gold to the Weaver, and that's dangerous. As we talk about the Weaver's farm in this game. Going to be higher than it was last game. His priority in this game, and extra bit of gold is...
Dendy finally gets the money for his bottle, although Courier heading top, that should not be... I guess Dendy may just head back to base to heal up after this, but he is struggling to farm. There we go. Courier goes back. He's actually goes for the boots before the bottle. Perhaps just going to be prioritizing getting the ball a bit later, using the shrines to heal up, but bottom lane, Roman, he's careful. I don't know if he's got a good escape for this one. Still has the Burrow Strike, and Pylai is out of mana.
Oh, Burrow Strike over to the side. Puppey missed his roll in. Now General's blocking the exit there. We'll be able to give RMN the exit out, it looks
There's
like.
another
with
Burrow
call
Strike.
in. Puppey doesn't have anything, so... And King, they were kind of trying to bait him in, but it wasn't good enough.
Yeah. I think the big concern is still this mid lane, where Dendy he has left this mid lane. He's been jungling for the last 2 minutes, I think. It's a completely empty lane. No one's getting far more XP there. I mean, they're trying to contest the offlane rather than send, like, the Sand King mid just to leech XP or anything. No one can actually lane against the Silencer right now, as far as their lineup goes. But now with Dendy returning, he's gone for boots and Windlace. He's gone for this super movement speed build, and the rotation's been spotted by a scan. Really good use of that from Secret.
Puppey and Pylai tie. Like, we're
Ring
going to have a
around
nice
the
little
Rosie.
game of Ring Around the Rosie here as
Yeah.
they try and catch that successful scan, but not already fight. Roll in, attempt to go on to Dendy here, misses the roll in, will manage to hit the kick though. Dendy has a refraction, fresh up. It's going to be eaten through pretty quickly by that Orb of Venom of Puppies, and that's going to be
They're
it.
going
But-
in bottom though.
Yeah, those supports showing in mid lane means RMN feels pretty comfortable going for MP. MP, he knows he's not feeling comfortable. He tries to eat his way through the trees. Nice juke out there. Phantom Strike just before the Burrow Strike could come in from RMN. Over to the left-hand side. We missed that one. The Rubik goes down. Looks like Puppey. KheZu managed.
Yeah. Well, we asked how things would change in the game 2, and it feels like Secret have won the early game much better than they did last game. Like, mid 1 is completely pushed Dendy out of the lane. Dendy, I think, is kind of reacting to what happened last game and just saying, look, I don't even want to have to deal with these Earth Spirit rolls. He just wants to straight up jungle. The one difference is Navi are contesting this offlane a bit more. They're not giving MP the easy time he had in game 1 as far as free farm goes.
Yeah, MP very rapidly was like 15 minutes in. I remember that first rotation he made out to the offlane, and it kind of said, like, nobody wants to be near MP. If you're Navi, like, that hero is real scary. They're not going to let him have the same kind of huge power spike, it looks like. Just contest him in the laning phase. Haven't actually, they maybe shut down his farm a small amount, but they haven't really stopped him. He's 34-9, haven't gotten a kill on him either.
And all he needs is to hit like a good timing on like his phase boots Aquila or even just phase Bassi, and then with an amp damage he does more than enough damage with the stifling daggers. Like a level 7 PA rotating top with phase boots is scary in itself, assuming you have the amp damage.
We get a little lucky here with spins. Nah. Puppey, oh, he actually gets blocked up by that one. I thought RMN was too far to the south, but he does get in front of that one. RMN maybe the turnaround kill. Burrow Strike coming up, but he does have the curse on him. And last shot there from mid 1. That's going to be -2, maybe -4. General's also going to be pulled back by the glimpse. Mid 1 gets the extra intelligence to start that snowball rolling.
Yeah. Axe, not a hero you want to be losing too much int on as well. One of the heroes that does run into mana problems early on, and Sand King, same thing. Like, you're playing a support Sand King with Tranquil Boots, so you're not going the arcanes. Losing that precious int can really cost you later on when you go for epicenters.
They're going for KheZu here. Burst Strike
Yep.
will land up. They'll get that kill. Meanwhile, Biver did die again here. Looks like Puppey managed to catch him in the mid lane. Biver's been kind of showing himself at mid sometimes just because Dendi has forsaken that one.
Yeah, it seems like our TA is going to jungle. Someone should get the farm and XP. Let's just send Rubik there, but a couple of cheap kills, it seems, getting picked up. Pycat pressuring this top tower, though. This is the first real tower pressure we've seen from either team. And PA, not a hero known for really able to pressure tier 1 towers early on, and that's where Secret are the ones who have to react to the tower push, because they're not going to be able to find trades.
Telekinesis, but RMN is not going around, because as this ward placed behind the tower, he also saw Pup.
Yeah.
Could have tried to make that go 1 versus 3, but not 3 versus 2. General, he's kind of being kited around. He knows he's dead. He tries to go for Pylai dies. See if Pi mispositions himself, but no such luck. The PA is in full laning phase dominance now. You've got phase boots, you've got maxed out stifling dag. Max can't.
Yeah, this bottom lane has been won by Secret at this point. 3 deaths on the Axe, not looking like he's going to get a fast blink time. He can fall back to the jungle now. Dendi making up for lost time in the mid lane, finally shows up once again with the help of some support to take out and punish mid one, similar to what we saw last game. And ideally they want to try to get a tower off of this one. Even Pycat rotating in. Navi really deciding that is a lane that they want to try and start winning.
3-man smoke like that when the lane was relatively pushed in at top is a bit of a surprise there for
Secret have global though, so yeah, they can't actually get that tower. But they took top. It did get denied, which is at least money being denied from the Navi side, but ultimately still will give them slightly better map control and easier access to the enemy side of the map.
I think they need the blink dagger before they can go, because they have to deal with that global silence. I think they need that clean initiation before they can threaten.
I think in a lot of ways, both teams are waiting for their blinks quite a bit here. Perhaps less so Secret because they've got the PA who can rotate and just use the corrosive haze with the stifling dagger to kind of chip away at and initiate off of. But Navi definitely need the blink on general before they can their next big moves and like ideally look to save some of those smokes for like their blink dagger timings. I like that Dendi's going to... Last game he went for the Deso first, and I think when you've got like a blink initiator on your team to go with the TA, you want to go for the blink before the Deso because you can just pair up so well. That blink dagger on TA becomes more valuable when you've got an Axe or a Sand with a blink. And Sand King's actually going to hit his blink before the Axe at this rate. RMN is very, very close.
Get the last hit on the tower. And one away from General. Meanwhile, Secret have dogpiled up here at the top lane. Die and MP sitting behind KheZu, seeing if they can get some sort of crush or glimpse scenario into a static storm, slow down that Lincoln's. Pycat is currently build, but he's
a bit low on mana here. We'll have the 1 charges to get a time lapse off if needed, but limited Shikuchi access. If he pops a Shikuchi, he can't time lapse. Although he's gonna tuck himself deeper into the trees. But I think you look at last game where Navi kind of fell short in the mid game, it was that blink timing. Sand King's blink came very late, and the couple of big team fights Secret won were before his blink came up. This time around, Navi say, trade towers. We don't care about defending top if we're getting bottom. And for one thing, like they're not even really losing top. Secret pushed very slowly. Last game it was Navi trying to fight, and that was when the PA rotated in. There were heroes that were amped up by the Slaughter, and they just got destroyed. This time around, Navi just play a more farming efficient game. They're waiting on Dendi's blink, they're waiting on the blinks on the 2 initiators, and they're going to take a very different approach to playing what is effectively the same game as what we just saw in terms of draft.
Yeah, I think even Pycat's patient play there in that top lane where he was sitting behind his tower, and as soon as the scan goes off, he gets a pretty good idea of what's happening. He just keep out that much slower style of play here from Pycat in this game with the weak as opposed to the Vengeful Spirit is working out for them. They give up that tier 1 tower, but they got a lot of farming space in the meantime, and they'll get their blink daggers, not just on the Sand King, but General is just a small step behind too. He just needs another 100 gold. So double initiation points now for Navi, and they gave up very little in the last 5 minutes.
Navi can get a couple of good successful fights in a row with these blinks. They can quickly snowball, because right now they're still fairly squishy. Like an Axe really isn't, until he gets the Vanguard, and maybe even a Vanguard and a Blade Mail, isn't all too scary, so they need to get good initiations.
Oh, that was not the place to TP.
Having flashbacks to that off on his Invoker in game 1. Sometimes you just get a bit unlucky with where you decide to rotate to.
And now they're going to try and take the tier 1 tower. They're actually going to fight this one with the global silence in the entrance of Puppey. He gets a really good ultimate that finishes off the Templar Assassin. They're going to pull back Pycat as well into the Static Storm. Couldn't get him though. He already had the Shukuchi out, so he got out of the kinetic field. Mid-one is culling bladed up, and now Pycat looks to be able to find those extra kills. He wants Pylai die. He's the squishier one. General though may have slight issues, gets a nice call onto KheZu. Pycat comes back in, seeing the opportunity for Pylai die. Nice sidestep there of the stun, but can't chase out Py with KheZu protecting him. So in the end, it is going to be Navi retreating, not able to pick up too many extra kills. That was a formidable defense there from Secret. They got the deny on the tower because of that and managed to fight 4 versus.
Yeah, not too bad. The worst part for MP was he respawned and couldn't even TP into the fight because his TP was still on cooldown, so could have perhaps been even better for Secret if, with how long the fight dragged out, MP actually respawned and was able to get back in theory, but Navi, now with both the top and middle tier 1 towers, opens up a lot of access towards that Roshan pit. If they can deward the 1 Radiant Ward in that area, well, there's really 2 with the one to the north side as well. Navi's lineup takes Rosh pretty quickly with the Weaver and the TA. So this, I feel like this next big, or both teams take Rosh fast. This next big team fight, one of the 2 teams wins it, it's Roshan as well, and that's kind of going to dictate the flow of the game based on who takes that first Aegis.
Armin. Thinking the dagger's going his way, not actually the case, and now he kind of wants that blink. 5 seconds. The cooldown's up. They really want to be able to catch
Access
MP
his
again.
blink.
They pressured him in lane. They want to pressure him again. They're going to be able to get the blink call. In from General, jump in from Dendy, follow that one up. A miss percentage, dodges the meld strike, but it's still not enough. They do manage to pick up that kill. Mass TP's in from Secret, but they're going to be coming in 1 by 1. The supports first, Static Storm laid out, catches 2, as well as an ultimate out from Puppey. That's a lot of damage over time. The Dendy tries to just get out of there with a TP, but a glimpse stops him. More damage out from the Earth Spirit ultimate. General, he knows he's dead. He tries to get whatever damage he can. Pycat chases down Puppey into the trees. Puppey actually gets uphill, and now Pycat's in trouble. RMN comes back in. The damage over time, a little bit more. Gets Py. A little bit of pop. Dendy comes back in. Gets the Slardar as well. Now it's just mid-one against the world. Refraction. Dendy, what are you doing? He's going to die as well. Mid-one actually gets the man up and finishes off Navi in style despite having a limited HP and a 1v2 scenario.
16 stolen in from him. Dendy was sitting there, like, I feel like he was lagging. I don't know what it was. He was sitting there dying to the magnetize and not popping refraction. He didn't pop it until he was 1 hit from dead at 15 HP when he could have popped it when he had like a good 100 HP. I was like, Dendy, what's going on? But he pops it, goes in, gets 2 kills, and it felt like he was just he tried to TP out. I don't know. Maybe he didn't realize that his TP got cancelled or something.
Nice play from
Secret. Yeah, they followed up with another pick. They'd love to get into the Roshan pit. They've got good vision around the area. It's just how much they're worried about a Navi blink initiation into that pit. But I think with be centered down and the fact that Axe doesn't have his follow-up item. If Axe has a Blade Mail or a Vanguard, it's a bit trickier to take Roshan because the Blade Mail onto the PA can be really problematic. But without those extra items, right now Secret, they should be strong enough to take Aegis. But Navi trying to get in there and trying to stop this one.
They need the swarm badly from Pycat, and if it connects pretty well, Global Silence goes down, but Roshan is still not dead. It's going to take some time. Full commitment. RMN makes the jump in. Static Storm laid out preemptively. Now the jump in from Dendy. It may cost him. He managed to pick up the Aegis, but he's going to lose this life pretty soon. Already 2 down. The big 2 cores of Secret. Now it's just going to be cleanup time for Navi. They're going to be able to get Puppey and a jump forward. General catches Pylai die, gets him with the slow, the Battle Hunger. RMN will gladly oblige with a follow-up. Gets the Burrow Strike, and Dendy is here to collect that kill. Or RMN. Or his Blink Dagger. What a jump in from Dendy, jumping into the Static Storm like that, but claims the Aegis.
Yeah, that was such a crucial moment for this game. If PA or Silencer gets that Aegis instead, that fight goes back. That's a Secret favorite fight. Maybe not as one-sided as it was for it's like a 2-for-3 or a 2-for-4, but Secret win that fight if they secure themselves Aegis. The problem is they use the Global Silence to try and finish off Roshan. So they pop the Silence, and then they're still hitting Rosh. They're not fighting with the Global Silence. So by the time the fight starts kicking out, Dendy doesn't, for one thing, has a second life, and for the other thing, they just don't have that Global Silence to fight Navi with, because they were using it not to fight, but yeah, just to try and secure Roshan, which they didn't even succeed in doing so. If they do succeed in getting Rosh, it pays for itself, but not the case.
think part of that is the lack of vision around that pit, despite being able to set up for the quick pickoff and make that rotation. I think he was just so afraid of RMN channeling that epicenter and coming in with the blink that he felt like he had to kind of go for that blind silence, not knowing what he's actually doing.
Well, RMN possibly looking to set up towards this bottom lane. Navi haven't got the Aegis to play around with since they had to use it to win that fight, so they don't come off with quite the position they otherwise would have had if they can win that fight while maintaining the Aegis. But they're going to have a Desolator now on Dendi. Just finishes the money for that one, so it feels like they're going back to playing more of a farming efficiency type game. And I think Navi's a team that needs those next couple of items. They've got the Blade Mail and Axe, but kind of talked about ideally having the Blade Mail with the Vanguard. They want to get those extra couple of tanky items going. TA Desolator makes a big difference, so Navi's lineup looking, at least currently, a bit more item dependent. I think on the Secret side, you're really looking at that Desolator timing, but more than anything, Secret want to fight around their spells, the Global Silence. Navi, they want to fight around item pickups.
If this smoke allows them to get the initiation, they were hoping to be able to catch Pycat. Not a chance here. I thought maybe Navi would actually leave that opening. Have Pycat play the farm role while the other four look for fights, seeing as they had such a big peak.
Scan pays off.
Scan does see the rotation in.
Navi knows what happened. And then he saw no one defending the mid lane. There's creeps on a T2 tower at mid and no heroes hitting it. That's like a telltale sign your opponents are smoked up. So should be very apparent that mid one was baiting there at the bottom lane with 4 heroes sitting behind him. Still could be worth, if you can jump mid one and burst him down, it is worth doing since he's the Global Silence, but you've got to make sure you actually kill him off.
Creep. Guy's a sniper. Did you see him? He just started chasing down General in the trees for some reason.
Your range creep vision is something else.
Yeah, it really is. Looks like Secret are finally going to give up on fighting around that tier 2. It's too low and too... Yeah. I think the terrain is too hard to fight around. Don't have that smoke initiation wrap around. Idwan is still maintaining the top net worth. That is a small glimmer of hope here for Secret, but I'm not sure if a farm silencer is going to be able to accomplish the same kind of things that MP did in the mid game if they're Phantom Assassin.
Yeah. The PA is the big hero. Like they were able to fight really well around the BKB timing last game. This BKB is still a bit of a ways off, and it's not going to be quite the influential item it was last game because Axe with a Blink Blade Mail and it's a bit of extra HP in the Vanguard. Suddenly he can fight.
Dendi, with the initiation from RMN, will get a clean pickoff on Puppey, allowing them to take control of this tier 2 tower area. Glimpse back, but likely to result in much. Lincoln blocking the Stifle Dagger and use their tier 2. Last one remaining is in the top lane. That'll start opening up shrines for Navi, and probably a very easy game 3 if they can actually get the tier 2 and the remaining structures. That'll be too big of a net worth lead and too much map control, I think.
Yeah, it gets tough. I mean, they're playing for that late game. They've got the Midas on the Slider now, but PA doesn't have good farming tools. So this PA is not going to be able to maintain good level of farm once you're down all your outer towers and you lose shrines. That's where PA will not just be like 2 to 3k behind some of the enemy core heroes. You'll fall like 5-6k behind the TA. You'll be a good 3,000 net worth behind an Axe or a Weaver. Like, we won't be seeing PA keep up with any of the Navi cores once you lose that map control.
Man, how much do you think? I mean, I think it's a decent percentage. Glimpse back, pulled in once again. We've seen the story time and time again from RMN. I was going to ask you, how much of this aggressive play from RMN, how much do you think is intentional, the way he's always running into the enemy like this, and how much do you think is... like, occasionally it's got to be coincidental, the way he just is always right in the enemy's face like this?
I think it's very much a playstyle thing with him, where he loves to go for these aggressive, like, solo moves around the map. He's often the one, like, getting that vision for... I mean, it's very much a vision thing more than anything. Like, he's not expecting to be able to get solo kills. Like, that's just unrealistic. The only hero who has the HP to solo kill is Pilot Down Disruptor, which is not... You're not going to use an Epicenter for a Disruptor kill at this stage, so... I think it's very intentional, but at the same time, sometimes it perhaps comes to the detriment of his team, but I think it's paid off more than it's hurt them, at least so far in this Game 3. And I think Game 2, it paid off more than it hurt them as well, even though there were a couple moments where it looked like he got caught out by himself.
Yeah, there's a lot of time where he just bought space. General is going to be target here of Secret's full rotation. Look at it. Comes back deep inside their jungle. Even Static Storm being used just to ensure this big kill. The Axe, 45 seconds. See what Secret does with.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, unlike the Sand King, that's an Axe who's just like trying to farm. He's just like, all right. I think he's under the impression that Secret are playing very passive on their side of the map, so he feels safe and confident farming in the jungle there, but all it takes is like one disruptor to scout him out, and then the entire Secret team converge on him. So that's the kind of kill that you don't want to see happening. Like the Roman kill on the Sand King is like, well, he's actively just like trying to split push lanes and be a nuisance, but losing the Axe really stunts Navi's potential to make plays around the map.
BKB for the Templar Assassin, Diffusal Blade for the Weaver. Even if the Axe has gone down, the other two cores have picked up a rather large peak of performance for them. They can do a lot in this next team fight if they can get the right kind of initiation. It looks like they're going to go for smoke. 4-man smoke?
Like
nope, full 5-man.
Dendy's just hit his item timings a lot earlier this game compared to last game. Same for like the Sand King with his blink. Same for, I mean, General's playing a different role. I mean, he's just as farmed, even slightly less farm than last game, but he's playing an initiate who doesn't need that farm. So it just feels like Navi have hit an earlier timing and are taking advantage of Secret's draft a lot better this time around.
A word for counter word trade.
They know exactly where Navi are. Like they're just drawn a box around this secret shop area. Oh, there's a lane ward though. They could still get these catches. KheZu sprints
not able to
past.
catch this Lardar.
And MP they don't have vision of, so this is where you ideally want to have a gem. You don't have the best like gem lineup slash hero. Like Rubik doesn't want to carry. Rubik's not carrying a gem. Sand King, I guess, theoretically could. He's got the blink and force stuff, so he can at least blink on the cliffs. Oh god, Sand King, speaking of which.
Alright, man, not again.
Oh,
okay, this is a saving glimpse this time around.
Oh my gosh.
First strike away, blink up, he's good. Pilot dies like,
It's tough.
Huh. Alright.
It's a tense game, you know, like.
Yeah.
Has been killed.
Oh,
Just
and a
panic.
courier chopped.
Oh.
That had a lot of gold on it. What the hell was in it? Oh, that was Shiva's Guard for mid one.
Alright, that's an item you want to have for this next fight. You
Did.
get the D ward, but you'll take that courier. And this could be a Roche. Oh, it's a long Roche respawn. They're almost going to be able to, like, if Roche had respawned before that Shivers, it could have been a slightly easier Roche fight for Navi. I mean, the Shivers isn't like the end of the world, but one thing Secret have done differently is they've actually held on to more of their smokes this game.
Another glimpse. Another opportunity for Pylai dies, just not quite in range. RMN, there it is.
Got this
Finally
one.
gets it pulled back. RMN. And again, I feel like this kind of play that RMN is doing, this kind of style, great when you need to buy time for your team, but I'm
Yeah,
not sure if Navi
when-
really need this space or this time.
When you're ahead like they are, it seems like a bad call from him. I know even there, like I think he could have dodged that boulder smash out of the way, but even so, like every now and then you will get caught. You won't be able to make that perfect play.
From Biver, but he doesn't have any mobility. He's just going to go for the TP out. He's good.
Sure.
Oh,
Radiant's bottom
was
tower is under attack.
Nice cats, they're pressuring bottom lane, but yeah, it feels like Navi have slowed down a lot. Both teams, I think they're just so dead set on this next Roshan that they're trying to like farm and split push lanes when Navi's actually very strong. Like they sniped that courier, took out the Shiva's Guard. They're perhaps respecting the global silence, but they've got BK. I guess they've only got one BKB, and Pyket can theoretically take the global off of one of his teammates with the diffusal, but that's like not always going to be reliable, and you never know who, like what the positioning is going to look like to make that play. So I think Navi just want to play the more map control game. They've got such good vision like outside the enemy base here, although they just lose one of those two wards, but they feel like they can just secure this next Roshan, and Secret feel like they've got to contest it.
RMN's position will pop the smoke there
Yes.
from Secret, and does not get caught this time around. Navi were all sitting in the pit, knowing that Roshan had to be spawning now, and Secret obviously knowing something similar, tried to go for the smoke interception.
I saw MP have this item queued up. I was wondering if he was just like kind of trolling a bit. He's gone for the blink.
Dire's middle
He's
tower
going for
is
that
under
before the
attack.
BKB too.
Dire's
Oh, Epicenter coming in. RMN, though, he's going to find nothing to connect with. Pylai Die sitting there on the front lines, taunting them. They are going to go on to Pi here. He's got the Ghost Scepter, but won't be able to get it off before Dendy's Melt Strike hits. So now it is still 4 versus 5, even without the Epicenter. It's like Navi could claim that Aegis.
Yeah, no Epicenter. It's also no Static Storm now, and they just lost that Radiant High Ground Observer Ward by the Roche Pit. It expired, didn't get dewarded or anything, so Sand King with no it's unlike last game, they don't need that Epicenter damage against the PA because there's no BKB. Just the Burrow Strike alone. RMN again! Alright, I mean, you can see what this guy's looking to do now with his plays.
Yeah, you can see. I mean, it pays off real good sometimes. Other times...
He's tanking every smoke. Every smoke Secret's doing is just being, like, wasted at this point.
RMN, he's been able to escape some of that. I think a large part is just, like, it's the Disruptor, right? Without that hero, you wouldn't be catching RMN when he does these sort of aggressive plays, so...
And he's always doing it around his vision. Like, he hides there next to the Observer Ward, so even when he's on the low ground, he sees them pop with the Observer Ward vision and then can instantly blink away. So he's very calculated about it, and the chance of getting caught is pretty low. Top lane, though. Oh,
two-man crush. That's going to be perfect. They're going to be able to go for General first. Global Silence. They find Pycat popped out an Invis, and they're like, oh, hey, we hit 2. We're going to be able to get 2 as well. Biver on the side with the Earth Spirit ultimate still on him, but the damage is still too quick for him. They lose 3 on the side of Navi. Secret, they've been, should have been behind this whole entire game, yeah. But they have a big opportunity now with that double pick off in the top lane of the 2 cores. They can turn some serious.
Like, Navi get a bit complacent there. They're like, all right, we got the Aegis. We've just broken all their smokes. RMN, he's not going to get glimpse. He forced out of the range. Nice. But I think also the backup from Pi wasn't really there. But yeah, I think that was like a moment of just complacency from Navi. It's like we have Aegis. All we got to do is just like push down this top lane, get this last T2 tower, get the shrines. And they also know Secret's probably out of smokes. That was 3 smokes in a row that RMN detected. So they're probably thinking like, oh, they're not going to make a play right now. They have no smokes. And that was just like Navi split across the map. Secret just make a bold move and punish the fact that Navi were split up.
Change from the Blink Dagger to the Scythe of Ice.
Okay. That will definitely help as far as initiating onto Dendy goes. Less so the Weaver, who's got a Lincoln's, but BKB is the name of the game. Axe is working on one for himself as well, and this feels like the item which will make life a bit more difficult for Secret in these team fights. They'll be very reliant on bursting a target down right away with those crushes. KheZu was clutching game number 2. We'll see if he can do it again against the BKBs of Navi.
I really feel like Secret, I think they should contest this push. Again, it's their last tier 2 tower, but it's also, the game is going to get a bit tougher when this MKB is up, but
there's no globe. Oh, with 10 seconds. So it's just like there's 2 10-second BKBs on Navi and an Aegis. So, I mean, vision-wise, neither team has good vision at the moment. I guess Dendy's got the slight advantage with his traps, but
I think it's also a tower. One of those situations, no matter what, even if you were going to contest, you'd have to go for a smoke and some sort of wraparound. The straight-on 5-man into Navi will never work. That'll be the tier 2 and sure.
I think you're kind of at that point where you're like, we've delayed it enough. We bought time. We've got a few key pickoffs. Silence has really transitioned well into the late game. PA's still, I kind of mentioned, like you're never going to be able to keep up in terms of farm with the enemy cores. Has managed to at least overtake the Axe a bit and very close to the BKB. This Blink Dagger feels almost like a pseudo split pushing item where MP can like aggressively kind of split push and then blink out to safety in the trees a bit, but it's still like a gimmicky little item, which we'll see how it works out for him being able to enter the fights a little bit better.
Very concerned for Secret. Maybe it's just because I don't trust the one position silencer and the what he's going to be able to accomplish in these team fights, but I worry that the PA is going to drop off pretty significantly here if we can get an MK.
Yeah, I think that's where I mean, for Secret, it's you look at what the rest of the team brings to the table. You've got the late game Earth Spirit who can combo with the Slaughter. Like if KheZu can hit these, I mean, last game he was hitting 2 3-man crush. He doesn't even have to hit those. He just has to initiate on 1 or 2, followed up with an Earth Spirit stun, and that hero is going to get bursted down by the PA. Even with an underfarm PA, has the damage output on a corrosive hazed hero to take them down at the start of a fight. So I think I look at Secret's draft, and they're transitioning into the late game, not just on like, I mean, the PA isn't transitioning well, but the other heroes are.
Yeah, that's true. Even the silencer, now that I think about it, I forgot his level 25 talent. That's he turns into another sniper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Forgot about his talents.
He'll have 800, 900. He'll have 940 attack rate. Basically, another sniper alone.
Okay. Yeah.
If we can get to that point, still 3 levels.
Yeah, the 20% curse light isn't really a consideration, I don't think.
KheZu closing in on that AC.
He's being pinged. They know he's there because of the trap. They're not going to catch him there.
General's trying to cut him off. He's gonna spot KheZu here as well. And decides against it. His allies are a bit too far away. Doesn't know where Secret is. They've got some nice aggressive vision, but only seeing heroes through this way.
That was risky from mid one. He didn't have buyback. If he somehow gets caught there, I mean, General's not going to solo kill him by any means, but Dendi gets. I mean, Dendi wasn't there. Neither was Sanking. It was just a Weaver who isn't doing a whole lot of damage yet. I mean, it's the exact same build we saw last game. I think this is still an okay build where it feels like going for the defensive items first against all these silences allows you to team fight, and it's a big reason why they were able to like take out all these outer towers. But Navi do need Pycat to now start transitioning to those late game items, and he is going to be ahead of the PA. That's really the big thing is here. It's like last game, like it gets up towards the MKB, but PA has enough items like with the Abyssal Blade that she can still fight the Weaver and fight the TA as well. But this game around, Weaver and TA are both miles ahead of PA.
Or Thunderhide. Stuck in the trees over here. No one's paying attention to him. Forever locked in a cage.
Yeah.
Double damage picked up by Pycat. I thought for a second maybe with the MKB on Dendi that they might try and make something happen, but he's just using it to farm. They're closing in on the MKB as Pycat as well. This PA is going to have potentially very little relevance in these team fights with the these two anti-evasion pickups. Yeah. It's going to be all on mid one to carry out some hefty damage.
And the PA's job is to make sure that first hero that gets jumped is bursted down. Like whoever the slider goes on, the PA has to guarantee that's a kill.
Who's the target then? Who is the ideal person for KheZu to jump?
I would look mostly toward. I mean, if TA doesn't have Aegis, killing her is great. The Axe is also a good target. I think Weaver doesn't do enough damage. I think Weaver is like a non-consideration right now.
Okay.
But ideal target is TA. Secondary target's probably the Axe, but I think more than anything, it's going to come down to vision and whichever hero you see first. Like it's one of those, you jump the first hero you see. There's never like a, oh, we've got to blink past that frontline hero and put ourselves in a bad spot by overextending. It really just comes down to the positioning of Navi.
Beggars can't.
And right now, Secret have pretty good positioning.
They're on the high ground here. Blink forward by General. They do manage to catch Mid-One here. Mid-One's by himself. He's just going to get blown apart by the 3 cores. And Secret may try and fight this one out. MP pops his BKB, turns, goes for RMN, but the BKB is a Navi, rendering so many of these heroes too tanking for Secret to deal with. MP turns, fights, tries to get a Blink Strike. He gets Biver, but come on. It's just a hard fight position. They've lost 3 from Secret, and they're going to be forced into 1 buyback because that's all they have.
That is brutal. This PA just hasn't been able to keep up, and we saw there, pops a BKB, tries to attack this tickles Navi. This is looking like Navi could threaten to go for X. PA does actually manage to get buyback. Looks like it was just a couple gold short when he died, so there is now 1 additional buyback, but TA Weaver on the front line. This is a very tough defense. No global silence, no static storm, very little in the Secret arsenal to defend with.
Like they're going to wait out on the Slardar at least, maybe giving up the full lane tracks to keep their buybacks intact. There is a rather large wave coming in at bottom, but Navi are not going to be taking any risks whatsoever. They may have done some damage to that tier 3, but again, Disruptor, sure they don't get caught in the escape.
Yeah, some serious discipline from Navi. I think it's one of those things where you're a new team. This is like one of the first big tournaments you're playing in. Yeah, it's a qualifiers, but it's for one of like the closest thing to a major that's not a major in DAC, and playing one of the top European teams right now in Secret. They can see how close they are and making all the safe defensive calls. for the most part. Smoke available on Puppey. We'll see if Secret can make a good move out to contest that Roshan. It's been RMN so many times scouting these out, and with the Observer Ward here, he's in the perfect spot to once again reveal the smoke.
General comes in, managed to get the two-man call. Dendy tries to follow this one up. They're going to be able to take down two. KheZu, he actually gets crushed up. RMN managed to hit that one. Triple kill for General. Pylai die. Ghost Scepter as much as you want. You're delaying the inevitable, my friend. He will also get dropped. 4 down from Secret. 2 buybacks are up. The 2 cores are the ones lacking the buyback, and it looks like Navi are just going to look to end.
Yeah, it really came down to a game of control. Once you install those towers, it allows Navi to get all these aggressive wards up, camp by those wards to spot the smokes out, use the traps very effectively. Dendy's been covering the map and traps to get intel for his team, and the map vision and control that Navi have had is what's really secured it for them in the late game. Game number 2, well, the game we just saw, was won through a few key smoke ganks from Secret that didn't get scattered out. This time around, every smoke was being revealed, and that's really been the deciding factor here. Navi get a second lane. They're not going to push their luck and try go for a third. They're just going to take the safe play and go for Roche, it looks like.
The Secret will have one last team fight in them. Yeah, toughest battle yet. These team fights have been anything but close. They've been rather one-sided to Navi. Vision is going to scout Secret as they start making their way towards the Roshan pit. They don't have any smokes I work with. And it would have been too late anyway. Puppey's going to get caught out here. RMN slows him down. Enough for Viver to get the telekinesis. Now the crush off as well. Puppey is down. He has buyback. They're going to need it. They need their full 5 against Navi, who are coming in with what I think is an Aegis and cheese, right? They have
It should be.
Maybe not.
Or is that only the second Roche? Oh, it's in the pit.
It's in the pit.
Okay, that's
right.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can count to 3. I don't work at Valve, and that is a cheese in the Roshan pit, so. Alright.
Then for Navi to collect later, I guess.
I don't know if Dendy's got the memo yet. He's in the neighborhood, but
They're letting it, they're letting...
Yeah.
Navi, final high ground push for your first win in the DAC European qualifiers. Bring you into that winner's bracket to face up against Team Bears.
God, that's such a tough group. It's like, alright, you just beat Secret. Now you're going to go versus Bears. Then there's potentially Adfinum. Or Secret again, you know, like,
yeah.
Jeez.
Navi,
They're going to slow roll things. Yeah.
They got something coming. Daedalus.
Are they Daedalus, I believe? Yeah.
And yours.
Yep. Interesting
Viver,
the
actually.
Aegis on Weaver. I thought the TA would be more the Aegis carrier just to hit the buildings on the high ground, but Dendy's a bit more slot limited, and Weaver, the 2 defensive items, can also function very similarly to the Deso TA on the high ground.
He's got BKB and time lapse to work with, whereas there's potential that his second life get combo stun maybe by Puppey.
They'll chip away at Pycat as best they can, try and break that Aegis for as cheap as possible, and there isn't the best sustain for Navi as far as they can't actually really heal him up. So Pycat slow rolling this one.
A little bit of damage bit by bit. Dendy will lend a helping hand as Pycat drops lower and lower.
Not going for any kind of a time
go
lapse.
back and eat that cheese.
Yeah. That's exactly where like you wish you had a cheese. It's like, all right, we just did 800 damage to this tower. Where's the cheese now, guys?
Can cheese go in your backpack? I actually don't know.
Yeah, it can. I'm 95% sure it can at least.
I think it's just Aegis. And
Yeah. As what supports should have. I mean, Rubik could drop a magic wand or something. You know, it's fine. But well, not the end of the world. They're not going to get it just yet. They're going to just sit around. This is just like waiting for the Weaver to slowly regen up a bit. Oh, we picked up a high. I love this. This is the slow sieging item. You used to see life stealers get this in these really. It was like a Chinese Dota item where you're slow sieging. It takes like 10 creep waves to finally slowly break a tier 3 tower, and you just hit for 5 seconds with rage, back off, and regen with your heart. And that's Pycat's approach with the Heart of Trask here. This is the sustain that he's been missing.
Feeling some of the AoE stuns, but they do finally get the tier 3. He's going to go ahead and time-lapse here. Bidding that one. He's going to throw out the bugs, not quite catching KheZu inside the trees there.
At some point, Secret just have to go. Or they're basically saying, oh, we'll verse Mega Creeps this game, which I don't think that works.
For stun, still not feeling comfortable with their openings here. Combo stuns on Pycat don't mean much with that Aegis in hand. Now mid one's going to jump forward with a Scythe of Ice, threatening Pycat's life as best as possible. He gets a Force Staff deeper into the base, actually, and that is where his Aegis is going to go up. But he does have a BKB. He's going to go ahead and pop that one, turn towards the mid lane of Rax. Decides to get a little bit of damage onto MP. Still focused on the game plan of objectives here. Left goes down. Puppey tries to make his initiation, jumps forward. Global Silence is out, but Navi, they've gotten themselves pretty far back, even smoking for some of those heroes in the back lines. Now General goes in big. He manages to catch MP with a blade mail with Dendi on the damage dealing. They're going to be able to finish him off. There goes a buyback. Already one. Maybe Puppey. That's going to make it two. Another Culling Blade out. Epicenter comes in. RMN hits it big time, almost finishing off Pylite, dying, getting a lot of damage onto mid one. Padcat right on top of mid one. Knows this is the big damage dealer. He needs to be able to finish him off. The time-lapse goes down. Oh, PA gets dropped again. Mid one goes down. He has a buyback, but he's losing all of his allies here. And how can a Silencer possibly stop this by himself? Well, if they have the combo stuns on Pycat, maybe they can actually do it. Jump forward here. General does manage to get the call on a mid one with the blade mail still going out. He needs some extra damage though, and he may not be able to have it. General dieback just like that. 90 seconds down. The rest of Navi have played it a little bit safer. They're gonna back out.
Ooh, okay.
Secret hold.
Yeah. You can definitely call it that, and this is alright. Interesting saying that this is like the no one has buyback state of the game now. Well, Weaver and Sanking do, so ideally for Navi, you wait the Weaver to come back alive and try and use the fact that he has buyback and no one on Secret does, but
they're gonna go
going in looking for the pick, yeah.
They got Puppey. Oh, KheZu! Man, crush out from KheZu. Maybe they'll turn this around. Pylite Die has Static Storm. Can he catch something here? They're gonna go forward, glimpse back. Dendi turns around. Oh, one shot Puppey just like that with the corrosive haze on him. He makes short work of Puppey, the captain of Team Secret. So now they're left pinned with no buyback for 70 seconds. Navi, they are still at a bit of a risk here. They do have two heroes with no buyback, Dendi and General. So if a fight goes completely terrible, them as they push high ground again, Team Secret could respond and do something.
I mean, Navi's advantage still comes from their vision. Like, even right now they don't have wards, but they have TA traps surrounding that top side of the Radiant base. Leaving without going undetected is very difficult for Team Secret at this point, and that's where Navi can pick and choose their fights. Like, RMM was just camping on top of a cliff. He just wants to see anything coming their way. It's very hard for Secret to make aggressive moves out on the map now that they're down 5 of their 6 racks, and they've just got no vision whatsoever. Leaving their base is just not really an option. So if Navi want to play safe, they can wait those buybacks out, but I have a feeling they want to probably take advantage of the fact that Secret themselves don't have buyback, and Weaver, the one hero of 10 that does, so... Oh, there we go. They got the cheese, Cap.
Yeah, I was about to say, important thing, guys. Right. They got the cheese, and they have a double damage, so I think you're absolutely right. Time to close out the game.
Yeah, Weaver can ideally go in. If you really want to just pop the BKB preemptively, that's an option.
Yeah, with the
unfortunately for Pylite, he can't finish his Ag Scepter. He has just about enough money, but getting to that shop seems impossible right now.
RMN turns around, manages to get the stun onto KheZu. Static Storm gets laid out. There goes those BKBs. Pycat not making much use of his BKB. Now turns towards that melee Rax, but it's going to wear out soon. Slowed down a little bit. Shikuchi away. He'll be fine. Melee Rax at half health. Secret still have to battle all these super creeps coming in from the mid and bottom lanes while Pycat chips away at this melee Rax thanks in part to the heart and cheese that he still has as backup.
It's so tough. Like, you're slowly losing your tier 4 towers.
They have to make a full commitment here. They're going to try and finish off Pycat. They have the loaded sword. A couple of Force Staffs. They do get him away. MP and his BKB were not enough to be able to finish off Pycat, who time lapses to full health and will go for that melee. Rax finishing up. That should be Megas. One hit left. Combo stuns. Pycat. Could he get dropped again here? He doesn't have time lapse. He gets it up just in time. Bounces back a dagger over to MP. That's Megas now that Secret have to contend with. But they are going to continue to try and fight this one out.
That's like a sigh of relief from Navi. They had to work. That's the hardest I think I've ever seen a team have to work to get mega creeps. From like that one final Rax. Like that took them ages, cheese, like 10 minutes of of slow sieging, and they finally get it, as well as like all the itemization they had to get for it, like the cheese, the Aegis, the Lotus Orbs on the Weaver, the Heart of Charask on the Weaver. With Slatter dead, I think they're without the threat of that Slatter crush initiation, it gets a whole lot easier to try and end this game now.
Yeah, these initiations are not nearly as straightforward for Secret. Lacking their Slardar. They're going to hold till the end, though, trying to defend their throne now without tier 4 towers. Super and Mega creeps rapidly closing in. Pycat and Dendy doing some chip damage here and there. 43 seconds. They may have caught Biver. Looks like he may go down. Glimmercape is going to save his life for those last couple of shots from Mid-Wan. Navi. Blood, they're going to be able to catch Mid-Wan here with a small stun. Mid-Wan gets back to the fountain. General manages to catch MP with the Blade Mail to help with Dandy once again. They're going to try and get this combination, but MP goes for the back lines. Pycat, as the damage dealer, feels a little bit of threat. Time lapse is all off. Finishes off Mid-Wan, and that'll be it. Pylai Die will have to watch once again as his throne explodes. Navi take game number 3, and best of 3, and are going to move on to face up against Team Bears in their GSL group.
Whew, that was a